This is your news source evening bulletin for today, Friday, the 18th day of November in the year 2022. I'm Gordon Mosley reporting. Here's what we're tracking tonight. Guyana's agent on the current border matter before the International Court of Justice, former Foreign Minister Carl Greenwich, today rejected Venezuela's contention that the ICJ should throw out Guyana's case on the grounds of admissibility. Delivering the opening presentation at the World Court for Guyana, Mr. Greenwich said Venezuela's objections appear not to be grounded in law, but it is to derail and delay the process, which will see the matter being settled and binding on all parties once and for all.
Guyana will demonstrate today that Venezuela's preliminary objections are both legally unsupportable and entirely without foundation. The preliminary objections appear to be a device intended to derail and delay the court's determination of the merits of Guyana's claims.
Mr. Greenwich told the judges of the International Court that although Venezuela continues to question the jurisdiction of the court, its participation now to object to Guyana's merits of the case shows that indeed Venezuela has confidence in the court to hear the border matter. He said it is his hope that Venezuela will participate in the case until its finality. Mr. Greenwich also described Venezuela's arguments in the case as surprising. Venezuela has argued that an agreement was reached between the Bolivarian Republic of Venezuela and Guyana's former imperial power Britain, and therefore it is Britain that should be a party to the proceedings and not Guyana. But Mr. Greenwich today told the court that Britain relinquished its authority over Guyana nearly 60 years ago and never asserted any claim. Therefore, it has no right or legal interest in respect to the disputed territory. He said Britain also welcomed the decision of the Secretary General to send the matter to the International Court.
Despite this, you heard Venezuela yesterday make a startling appeal to the need to protect the dignity of that former imperial power by refusing to exercise jurisdiction over a claim brought by its former imperial possession, Guyana.
Greenwich said the Guyanese people have full confidence in the ICJ to resolve the matter and bring it to finality. Guyana has retained a battery of international lawyers to argue its case before the International Court of Justice. The foundation of Guyana's arguments is based on the premise that the ICJ has already ruled that it has jurisdiction to hear the case and therefore it cannot treat Venezuela's objections as a serious one, since it will go against its own ruling on the jurisdiction question and rules of the court.
Something big is here. GTT presents the moment you've all been waiting for.
Tis the season to drive with GTT. Get your chance to be one of 4 lucky winners of a Toyota Raise, plus weekly giveaways and more. Simply activate a prepaid plan, pay your bill on time and in full, sign up for fiber and voice plan, pay any 2 bills with MMG, or join the GTT family. And vroom! It could be you. 4 Toyota Raises, 4 winners. Drive with GTT.
Where's the biggest Black Friday sale this year?
I found this on the web for you.
It's Giftland's biggest sale ever this Black Friday from Monday 21st to Friday 25th November. Get up to 80% off on electronics, household items, clothing, shoes, accessories, cosmetics, furniture, and much more.
Hey Siri, direction to Giftland Mall, please.
Getting directions to Giftland Mall.
Sorrel making, hey, garlic stirring, hey, ham and black cake eating. Now this is Christmas. 'Tis the season to get what you've always wanted with a little help from Republic Bank. Same day approvals apply online. It's time to make it happen for yourself and your family. Get cash back for the best Christmas ever. Sorrel making, hey, garlic stirring, hey, ham and black cake eating. Now this is Christmas.
Republic Bank, we're the one for you.
Mobile One is more than oil.
It's many oils. It transforms at the molecular level. When cold, it's thicker than honey. When hot, it's thinner than water. Mobile One adapts and readapts to last longer. 16,000 kilometers between oil changes. That's your engine evolved.
Sol Guyana is the authorized distributor of mobile lubricants.
Get in the game with Buster. Win a full gaming setup, Xbox X, gaming chair, gaming speaker and headset, or any of over 60 weekly prizes like Oculus Quest 2, Mini 2 drone, Nintendo Switch, and many more top gaming prizes. Check below for details.
In an address to the nation last evening, President Finale announced an 8% salary increase for public servants for this year. He said the increase will be retroactive to January, and public servants will see the increase and its retroactive payment in their December salaries.
I now wish to announce that my government will be paying an across-the-board increase of 8% to public servants, teachers, members of the discipline services, constitutional office holders, as well as government pensioners. This increase will be granted retroactively to 1st of January 2022.
It was also announced by the President that additional measures will soon be announced for various categories of public servants. He did not provide any detail on what those additional measures could be.
Further announcements will be made next week in relation to the specific categories of employees to which I referred earlier in the first phase of adjustment.
The announcement by the President came amidst calls from the Guyana Public Service Union for the two sides to meet on salary and other increases for the nation's public servants. There has been no such meeting, and the increase announced by the President came from government's unilateral decision. On social media, there was swift condemnation by public servants and others over the announced 8% increase, with many persons pointing out that the increase will have no real impact for the ordinary public servant because of the rising cost of living and the continuing increase in the inflation rate. The Guyana Public Service Union today described the government's 8% salary increase for public servants as disgraceful, saying that the arbitrary announcement is being done in conflict with the Constitution and laws of Guyana, the International Labour Organization core conventions, and the Declaration of the Fundamental Rights and Principles of Workers, and the legally binding collective labor agreements between the Guyana Public Service Union and the government of Guyana. The GPSU said the move by the government was deliberate, blatant, and discriminatory, adding that the government totally ignored the astronomical increase in the cost of living and the current inadequate earnings of the workers. The GPSU said the unconstitutional conduct of the government is clearly a further testimony to the regard that the current government has for the rule of law, democracy, and the rights of workers, noting that the ongoing manifestation of how the government undervalues the employees and their services and contributions to progress and development of the people of Guyana is being looked at. The GPSU said it considers the repetition of the unenlightened and backward approach by the government as an objection to the attributes of modern industrial relations and also as one beset with ulterior motives. The GPSU said it would like to advise all workers that there is a labor debt that is owed to the workers by the government, which is retroactive from January 2020 and which must be paid. The union said the known intention of the government is to keep workers in stricken poverty, given that for decades workers were forced to supplement employment costs because of the grossly inadequate allowances being paid to discharge official duties. The union said workers should treat any handout that is being made available to them as an interim payment, and it must be tax-free like all other handouts given to PP Civic supporters. Leader of the opposition, Aubrey Norton, today slammed the announcement of that 8% salary increase for public servants by the president, saying it is not enough to assist public servants with the high cost of living that they are currently facing. Last evening, President Ali announced that public sector workers will receive an 8% across-the-board retroactive increase for this year. Today, the opposition leader Aubrey Norton said public servants should reject the paltry sum and demand better, since it will do nothing to cushion the effects of the rise in the cost of living.
This paltry increase cannot cushion the high and spiraling cost of living. It is important to note that while poor workers who are earning $75,000 per month will get an increase of $6,000 per month or $72,000 per year, President Irfan Ali, with his more than $2 million per month salary, will get an increase of no less than $160,000 per month, which translates to $1,920,000 per year.
Mr. Norton said the announced increase is a political gimmick, which he believes will deteriorate instead of improve the lives of citizens.
His actions lead us to conclude that apart from being dishonest, the PPP is an anti-working class regime that is pushing public servants deeper into poverty. Rather than improving the lives of these dedicated workers, the PPP is focused on enriching its elite, friends, family, and favorites.
The opposition leader also said he finds it strange that the president would acknowledge the extent of the inflation rate in the country and how it has been affecting citizens and still decide to give an 8% salary increase.
The president is giving the small man crumbs while they enjoy the entire bread. Public servants, this was the first budget partly funded by our nation's oil revenues. We know that many of you were hopeful that the nation had turned a corner, that public servants would now be compensated fairly for their long hours of toil and dedicated service. Unfortunately, that is not the case. We support your call for a living wage, as we know that 8% will not even keep up with a likely 10% inflation.
When the president made the announcement last night, he said his government has been putting several measures in place to cushion the rise in the cost of living in the country. He spoke about the several cash grant initiatives and incentives offered by his government, although many of those initiatives did not target the public sector workers.
It's November already and soon it will be Christmas, so we at John Lewis Styles are giving away one Amazon Echo show every week in November and every day in December. Stream music and videos, make video calls and control smart devices, alarms, reminders and lots more. Every $5,000 spent gives you a chance to win when you shop for clothing, footwear, watches, fragrances, handbags, luggage and accessories. So visit us on Waterloo Street. John Lewis Styles, simply different.
GBTI Quick Cash Christmas is back, just the way you like it. Get up to $500,000 easy for anything you want this Christmas. We ain't waiting on Santa. We buy and we own this Christmas. Apply at your nearest branch or online at www.gbtibank.com from October 15th to December 31st. GBTI, we see Christmas through your eyes. Terms and conditions apply.
A very Merry Guyanese Christmas.
Leader of the Alliance for Change, Comrade Ramjatan, today confirmed that his party will be exiting the coalition when the Cummingsburg Accord expires at the end of this year.
We are going to exit, as it were, the partnership. We will still have very cordial working relationship with the APNU because, of course, we are a joint party at the parliamentary level.
Mr. Ramjatan said the move was in keeping with the decision taken at the level of the national executive of the AFC. The party, which signed under the Cummingsburg Agreement with its coalition partner, a partnership for national unity in 2015, ahead of the 2015 elections, and then again just before the 2020 elections, intends to rebuild its image and re-establish its independence. Mr. Ramjatan said though the AFC has opted not to renew the accord, it will unite with the APNU to fight for genuine causes, such as a clean voters list. He said the party is expected to maintain its seats in the National Assembly.
We will have 9 parliamentarians. We will be united in parliamentary action against the PPP at that level. If we do have separate views, we will certainly express them. And I'm certain if the APNU has different views, they will express them too.
According to the AFC leader, the leader of the opposition, Aubrey Norton, who's also the chairman of the APNU, is aware of the AFC's position and asks whether the AFC's decision not to contest the upcoming local elections is linked to the party's decision to walk away from the coalition. Mr. Ramjatan said it is simply the independent position of the party.
we have a principled position that since the list is not clean and there are about 200,000 people there who are not supposed to be there, it is the view that we are not going to participate. We had also asked for biometrics, and we have now learned that the PPP is not going to allow any biometrics equipment to ensure that at the place of poll for that local government elections, you're going to have nobody trying to impersonate.
Ramjatan said the opposition leader respects the decision of the AFC. Members of the Guyana Rastafari Council are dissatisfied with the recent removal of custodial sentences for possession of small amounts of marijuana. They said they want full legalization. With the president still to sign the bill into law, the Rastafarians are calling for a number of other amendments to be implemented with the laws. While protesting today outside the president's office, the Rastafarian group said it is time for the president and his government to begin consulting them as part of his One Guyana. The president of the Guyana Rastafari Council said the Rastafarian community simply wants the rights enjoyed by other religious groups and citizens to be extended to them, and that includes the use of marijuana for religious and other official purposes.
I stand this day here with the Rastafari community. I am Ras Simeon Sali Selassie, President of the Guyana Rastafari Council, and I preach from the house of Nyabingi. And I declare in this day that no man religion must be prostituted. Everyone's entitled to their own belief, to their own religion. And Rastafari religion is protected under the Constitution of Guyana. And when I say in the government of Guyana, this is race discrimination, this is state discrimination against Rastafari. And I say in this day, and I ask in the public, for the citizens of Guyana, for all religion, like it has been written by the international organization to the public, that Rastafari must be given rights to the sacramental use of the Holy Herb. And I feel that that is enough. Religious authority had declared I rights to practice I culture outwardly. And I stand this day with the Rastafari community to advocate continually. And this day, we feel that the government of Guyana should consider that you cannot take away people's rights because it causes an uprising.
And meanwhile, the General Secretary of the Guyana Rastafari Council, Ras Kafra, said a recent amendment to remove custodial sentences for small amounts of marijuana is simply not enough. He said the Rastafari Council had made a number of recommendations for the amendments, but it appears as though all of those recommendations were disregarded.
There are certain things that they must include or must recognize or adhere to, and that is respect for people's religious rights. Right? That is one of the main things that has been echoed throughout. And even more than that, the right to privacy and the right to health. Because cannabis around the world has been liberalized more so on a health basis. People must have the right to medicate themselves with however they see fit, right? And the research has shown that cannabis is effective against so many ailments and so on. So you cannot tell people that they cannot have access to this beneficial substance. You know, it is totally wrong, and the government must acknowledge this. The government must acknowledge this is an international movement.
Other members of the Rastafari faith who joined this morning's protest said they hope that the president will find the time to directly hear their concerns and work with them to address them.
The Bible says harm is the service of man, and Babylon is selling illegal things, and they're selling death in illegal. The cigarette, on a box of cigarette, there's a written mark death on the box of the cigarette, and they're selling it legally. They're selling death to people. I don't understand what they're telling me. Harm is a harm for man, and they're selling death to people in Guyana legally. And the rum, they're selling. Take the cane and make rum. You chop up your people, you chop up your friends, you get drunk, you sleep on the streets, all kind of things, and they got legal. And harm was the service of man, ever living and never dying, they put you in jail for truth and right. That's I would like to know. My son asking me how they legalize cigarette smoking and they mark death on a box and they sell it legally, and they're putting me in prison where the Bible says harm is the service of man.
The members from the Rastafari community said they support the use of marijuana but are completely against its abuse and overuse. Well, training teachers who are undergoing training at the Cyril Potter College of Education will receive a salary from next year, while 100 additional senior teachers will receive duty-free concessions in the coming days. That's according to the Minister of Education, Priya Manik-Chan.
We've taken the decision that all the training teachers will be given salary as of January next year. And that is going to be because they'll be in schools. They'll be in schools even as they are learning. And so they're going to be paid.
During the commissioning of the Cyril Potter College of Education Read and Hoop Center, Manik-Chan explained that training teachers will receive salaries similar to those received by those in-service teachers.
Within the course of this week, several teachers are going to receive their duty-free concessions. How many? 100 teachers will receive duty-free concessions where they can buy vehicles duty-free.
Currently, only training teachers who are living in at the college are given a stipend of about $11,000. The education minister said that will change from the new year. She also announced that 100 teachers will receive their duty-free concessions in a matter of days. Head teachers and their deputies, senior masters and mistresses, and heads of departments are among those in line to benefit from the duty-free concessions. Further, a number of teachers are in line to receive scholarships from the Ministry of Education to pursue higher education at the University of Guyana. The scholarship program, Minister Manik-Chan said, is separate from the GOAL initiative, through which more than 1,200 teachers are pursuing their masters and doctorates.
Census takers are visiting communities across Guyana and collecting information from every household. This information will help the government to plan better for our country's development. All the information shared will be treated as strictly confidential, and everyone is asked to participate. No one should be alarmed about any question asked, because the answers provided will help to improve living standards, decrease community crime rates, and improve access to housing and healthcare, among other benefits.
The census gives us the tool to identify some of these important gaps that exist across communities, within communities, and across regions, so that we can have targeted intervention.
Yeah, we counting way from region 1 to region 10, the whole country. Yeah, we counting way.
Food Max Supermarket, located on the ground floor of the Giftland Mall, is your one-stop shop for all your grocery needs. We stock a variety of imported frozen meat and food products, fresh produce, and pet supplies, freshly made bread. Rotisserie chicken and patties are also available daily. Shop in comfort today at Food Max and let our courteous staff assist you in satisfying your shopping needs. Food Max, the fresh food specialist.
It's one of your biggest goals, getting your own home, where memories are made, where happiness lives. You may feel that home ownership or renovation is beyond your reach, but we at Republic want you to know that there's always a way. Ask us about our suite of mortgages. Let's help make your housing wishes come true. Or advise on how the equity in your existing home can finance other dreams and goals. Call or go online to learn more.
Get in the game with Buster. Win a full gaming setup, Xbox X, gaming chair, gaming speaker and headset, or any of over 60 weekly prizes like Oculus Quest 2, Mini 2 drone, Nintendo Switch, and many more top gaming prizes. Check below for details.
Fuel it up and drive, Super 95. Tune up, fuel it up and drive, Super 95. Tune up, protect your fuel system, boy. High mileage and performance, boy.
Guy Oil's Super 95 gasoline gives you more reasons to drive and is available at 56 service stations nationwide. For affordable price, high performance, and high mileage, choose Guy Oil's Super 95 gasoline.
Fuel it up and drive.
Across Across the region tonight, the Dominican Republic is stepping up deportations of Haitians and is creating a police unit focused on foreigners, fueling tensions between the two Caribbean nations whose relations have for decades been marred by migration disputes. The President of the Dominican Republic, Luis Abinader, last week issued a decree calling for stepped-up migration protocols enforcement and the creation of a police unit to investigate foreigners living in illegal land occupations. Critics in Haiti have noted those plans run counter to a UN call for countries not to return citizens to Haiti due to chronic gang violence. The Dominican Republic's Foreign Ministry did not respond to an email seeking comment. The UN High Commissioner for Human Rights, Volker Turk, on November 10, called on the Dominican Republic to halt deportations of Haitians, citing violence and systematic human rights violations in their homeland. In Dominica, the Prime Minister there, Roosevelt Scarrett, says Dominica's international image was saved when islanders failed to show up to a protest at the Bayfront in Roseau, which was planned by the United Workers' Party. The protest was organized by the UWP to allow Dominicans to show their dissatisfaction with Scarrett's decision to call a snap general election set for the 6th of December. The UWP and other opposition parties are boycotting the election because they believe the country's electoral machinery cannot deliver an election that is free and fair at this time. The Prime Minister commended Dominicans for rejecting a call to perform what he described as antisocial behavior in the capital city. Scarrett brushed off the crowd which gathered on the Bayfront as a small group of opposition supporters from their Heartland support base in eastern Dominica. He said a small crowd sends a clear message to the international community that the people of Dominica are supportive of the general election taking place in early December. And finally tonight, international news. Alcohol will not be sold to fans at the World Cup's 8 stadiums in Qatar after FIFA changed its policy 2 days before the start of the tournament. Alcohol was set to be served in select areas within stadiums despite its sale being strictly controlled in the Muslim country. Those in corporate areas of stadiums at the tournament will still be able to purchase alcohol. The World Cup starts on Sunday when Qatar plays Ecuador. Budweiser, a major sponsor of FIFA, is owned by beer maker AB InBev and had exclusive rights to sell beer at the World Cup. The host country authorities and FIFA will continue to ensure that the stadiums and surrounding areas provide an enjoyable, respectful, and pleasant experience for all fans, a statement noted. Budweiser posted a message on Twitter on Friday saying, "Well, this is awkward." And that's your News Source Evening Bulletin for tonight and this week. I'm Gordon Mosley reporting and encouraging you to have a safe and enjoyable weekend.